Excellent. I've come on a couple of minutes early because I don't trust tech. So if you are here for the Future of the Health Professional live chat with Jane Macnaught, you are in the right place. I am just waiting for a couple of people to turn up so that I know this is happening, that I can see Jane on here live, and I can invite her to come and join this conversation with me today. Hey Peggy, lovely to see you here. Thank you for letting me know that you're here. So the Future of the Health Professional Symposium came about because I have become increasingly concerned with the future of the health professional. There is a lot of discussion about what it is that we need to be doing and how we need to be doing it to make sure that we stay relevant, make sure that we meet the needs. Tasha, so great to have you with us today as well. So what I see in my industry particularly is that there is a lot of talk about technology and AI and future this and future that. Hey, Teresa, another Aussie here. Hey, Debbie, so great to have you here. I wonder where Jane is. I hope she's turning up soon. But if you've ever wondered, do I have what it takes to keep going in this work? Do I have what it takes for you to be able to keep doing what I'm doing? And if you've ever wondered if that's something you even need to be thinking about, then the answer is yes. So yes, you do have what it takes, but you need to know what it is that you need to do to set yourself up for success in the future. Because the need for health professionals is not going away. It's just not. And if you are in Australia or any Western country at the moment, there is greater need than there are people to actually fulfill that need. Here in Australia and most of the USA, we don't have enough people to meet the needs. We have growing waiting lists. We have people who are completely despondent because care takes about 18 months to get, especially if you live in a rural or remote area. And it's just really difficult for us to meet the need when there are so many people out there. Yeah, Teresa, I'm thinking it is time to tap dance. I'm wondering if one of you could just check in with Jane, make sure she knows where she needs to be. She'll be nervous because, you know, going live like this on somebody else's platform and profile can be a little nerve-wracking. So let's all encourage Jane to find out where she is, make sure that she can come and join us. Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate you doing that. So the Future of the Health Professional Symposium has been created by me to start the conversation about what is it really going to take for us to be able to keep doing this work. Now, if you think this is a symposium that's just going to be teaching you the next marketing hack, you are wrong. This is not about marketing. This is about you as a health professional. Because if we are not healthy and vibrant and aware of what's going on around us, then we're not going to cut it. We're not going to be able to last the distance. And this concerns me. You see, some years ago now, I watched my father have an incredible, horrible heart incident. My dad was big into his drama. He lived on the South Coast about 4 hours away from me, and he had such a bad heart incident that he ended up being airlifted to one of the specialist hospitals in Sydney. And during that, he was there and they stabilised him and they got him to the point where he was ready to be discharged. But there was so much pressure on that health system at that time that the message he got was that he was taking up a bed. If he could walk and get himself around, then he didn't need to be in hospital anymore because there were people worse off than him. Now, I'm sure many of us have felt that or wondered about that, but you know what? They discharged my dad when he could not look after himself. And they discharged my dad into the care of his 85-year-old mother. Now, my dad was a big man. My grandmother was a tiny little woman. And it just horrified me that my dad as a patient felt so pressured by this health system that he did not He did not stay in hospital long enough to look after himself to get the care that he needed so that we didn't have all of the complications that we dealt with afterwards. So if we are working in health systems that are already feeling this burdened, how are we going to be taking care of ourselves? How are we going to be doing what it is that we need to be doing? And where do we even need to focus? Now, I see so many conversations in Facebook groups and other forums talking about the latest modality. We, as health professionals, we genuinely are education-rich people. We love education and we want to know, am I doing the right thing to help more people? And we know that our clients and our customers and their families, they want quick fixes. And unfortunately, most health conditions don't have a quick fix. But in our desire to want to support and help and love on our people, we want to help find the tools that are going to be the best tools to help them in the moment. Well, what if I was to tell you right now that it's not another credential, it's not another tool that you need? It's not another thing that you need to have gone and studied to actually learn how to do this. Teresa, thank you for letting me know about Jane. She just needs to turn her Facebook app on, be in her profile, and she should see this live. She doesn't have to do anything to turn on live except come and find me and watch me here. Her name will come on a list that I can see, and then I can tap on that list and she will be brought into the conversation live. So hello Jill, hello Kate, so great to have you here as well. So if it's not another modality, if it's not having an overburdened health system, well, what are some other things that it is not? Well, I can tell you it's not AI. So I know that we have a lot of technology in our health space now, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I had robotics perform surgery on me. I had my husband have robotics perform surgery on him. That's really cool stuff. And there's a lot of talk about AI or artificial intelligence. We've got app-based therapy. These are great adjuncts to therapy. And the point of AI is to take away from us the easy, the less cognitively demanding, the less mundane, the less distracting things that actually don't take our brain power. So the point of AI or the point of systematization is to remove from us some of those more simplistic tasks. So this is where we see people engaging with an app to do their physical therapy exercises or their speech pathology exercises. This is where we see people engaging in virtual reality to overcome trauma or to build strength and tolerance. This is where we see people using brain spotting techniques or biofeedback or EMDR. Oh, see that Jane has arrived. Now, so AI is there to take from us the things that are easy. But what does that mean for us? That means for us right now, we are going to be doing more complicated things. Because if we're freed up from the less complicated, then that means that we will be making room for the increasingly complicated. So if there are any academics watching this today, then you need to understand that you need to be teaching our new graduates how to deal with complicated issues from day one. Way back in the day, before the 2000s, and I graduated from university, we had all these discussions about, single issues. Single people turning up with single issues. I don't think I've ever met a person with a single issue. Can you give me a no way in the chat below? Jane, you're still not turning up on my list, so I am really, really keen to try and work out where you are. Hang on, let me just play with some buttons here. Playing. Oh, that one's not going to work. How do we get? No. There we go. Whoops. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, let's see if we can make that work even better now. Single issues. Single issues are just not a thing, but yet we're all taught how to deal with a single issue or a person who turns up with a single issue. Have you ever? So I'm saying this like, no, it's not a thing. So if we are now moving into a day and an age where we have technology that allows us to do more complicated things more often, then what kind of burden does that leave us? Jane, far out. I've sent you an invitation, Jane. I hope that you can find that for us now. That would be really cool. So there should be something popping up on your screen, Jane, that lets us, that allows you to come onto this call with me. Technology. See, this is the other thing we need to be aware of as health professionals, is technology is awesome when it works. Technology is outstanding when it works. Jane, you have nothing to be sorry about here, lovely. We are all in a learning environment together. So if we know that we are going to be doing more difficult work, that is the future of the health professional. And if we know that we have an overburdened health system dealing with more difficult and complicated issues, where not one single modality is going to be the right answer to the right things at the right time, then what are we going to do? Where do we need to put our focus? And this is one of the things that I'm really excited to be bringing from 11 different speakers on the future of the health professional symposium, because this symposium, I pulled it together out of people that I have been learning from this year. These are people who have done something. These are people who have been around for a while. Most of us got through the global financial crisis. So if you're worried about recession, then you know what? You've got people to listen to who are going to be able to impart some really great advice. So we've got some speakers who are going to be turning up talking about the types of issues that are coming into your therapy room or your treatment room that you may not even be aware of, but are interrupting or stopping the progress of treatment. And this is things like death, dying, grief, chronic health. Those issues are taking up over 50%. 50% of the adult population in Australia and the USA explain that they have a chronic health condition. So if we're not addressing that with 50% of the people who come into our room, we're missing half of the population of people who need our help. So you need some skills to learn how to deal with that, what questions to ask, how to talk about it. So that is one of the really cool things that Tasha is going to be speaking to us about. And then I have the privilege of having both Jill Johnson-Young and Debbie Frankel coming and talking on this event with us as well. Now, both of these ladies know grief, they know death, they know dying. They have been an incredible support to me over the years, particularly Jill, because I met Jill about the time that my mum was killed in a car accident. And grief, death and dying is turning up in our businesses every day. And Jill is going to be talking about how you get your practice, how you get your business, how you get yourself ready to be dealing with that. What are some of the things that you need to be looking out for? What are some of the things that you need to be considering? And how do you even address this? Because let's face it, many of us don't like talking about things that threaten our own mortality. And Debbie is going to be talking to us about the grief that we experience in our own burnout. Jane, I just don't know how to bring you on, honey, because it's not giving me, there's an invitation that it just won't let me do it. So I'm not sure how I do that. Woohoo! Yep. Not quite sure what else to do here. I can bring on pretty much anybody else, but for some reason, it's not letting me bring on Jane. That is the most bizarre thing of all. Anywho. Yep. So Debbie's going to be talking to us about grief and the grief that we experience and how we need to be preparing ourselves as clinician. So there's grief that comes with burnout. Anyone else been burnt out before? Yes. Burnout. and Debbie's right. There is grief that comes with that, and it's awkward and it's difficult and it's really hard to turn up for clients day after day after day after day if you haven't dealt with your own grief. If you haven't dealt with your own grief in your own sessions with your own therapist or the way you need to do it. But there are specific things that we can be doing to prepare ourselves, knowing that we're going to be moving into a future where it is going to become increasingly difficult for us because the work we're going to be doing is harder. The people who are coming to see us are not going to be coming with single issues. And what excites me about Jane, who, you know what, is learning how to use technology today, and who knows, Facebook might have just been being problematic. Jane, I have learnt so much about trauma-informed ways of being. Here's Jane! Woohoo! Here she is! Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. So no tap dancing, Teresa. But it's now, it's telling me, Jane, that you're being added. I'm getting an adding signal. So Jane has been teaching me this year about trauma-informed work. Not just trauma-informed therapy, but trauma-informed work. Jane, welcome. Look at that. We did it.
We did it.
We did do it. So thank you so much for your patience and working this out with me. I am really thrilled to have you here. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, and it's 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, so we know that the week is just going to get better from now, right? So, Jane, tell us a little bit about yourself. I was warming everybody up. So, who are you? Where do you work? What do you do?
Right now, I'm in Sydney. I'm on the Northern Beaches in Mona Vale, Australia. I am a therapist, a counsellor. In private practice, and I've also got a few other sort of training and different activities that I do.
Yeah, a few other training and activities that you do. You have a thriving Facebook community for people who want to learn how to be trauma-informed. You've got an app under development. Yep. You're a yoga teacher who incorporates that into your therapy, like just a few things.
Yeah.
Just a few things. And you have the most beautiful website called Tranquillo Place. So people who want to go and learn more about you today can go do that. Yeah. So Jane, we're going to take as long as it takes here this morning, so I don't want you worried about time. I am really curious though well, first off, let me ask you a couple more questions. How long have you been doing this work?
Over a decade. So this is I did a late change in career change. But I think it's about 13 years if I was being super accurate. Yep.
Super accurate. For those who like super accuracy, about 13 years. So you're not new. You haven't been doing this for 5 minutes.
No.
And before you were a therapist, what did you do with yourself?
I've had multiple careers. I've been a chef. That was probably my last favorite job that I did, was cooking and catering and working in kitchens. Yeah.
Are there any similarities between cooking and catering and therapy?
Oh, managing people, thinking about personalities, juggling lots of balls, having a lot on the go, a lot of things going through your head and trying to manage tricky situations. But also being really creative. So to create a beautiful meal takes a lot of time and thought and energy. And I think also in therapy is the same, to work with a client creatively and thoughtfully, and preparing myself for that work is takes a bit of creative energy as well.
It does. And I think that's one of the gifts you've given me over the past years that we've known each other, is giving me permission to think creatively about how I prepare for the work that I do. And I've really, really enjoyed watching you talk about that, because I've been able to incorporate a lot of that into my own work. So thank you. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
Surprise. So I want to ask you a non-therapy question right now. Can you remember what the first musical concert was that you ever went to? Was it a big band? Was it a small band? Was it Australian pub rock? Because that used to be a thing.
Oh, I can remember it really accurately, actually. It was a hot sunny day. Actually, I'm not sure where. It was Sydney Cricket Ground outside. It was called Rock Arena, 1977.
Wow.
And Fleetwood Mac were headlining, and Santana. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. See, now I've got envy because I wasn't allowed to go to that event.
I don't know how I was allowed, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew.
Maybe your parents took you. Maybe they were really responsible and your parents took you.
Oh, no, I remember.
So, yeah, go on.
No, I remember the girls I was sitting with. I remember we were very sunburnt. Yeah, it was a hot sun. We had to wait for hours. It was great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that was before the days when we were all taught to slip, slop, slap. So, Anywho. So when you started this career some 13 years ago, was there something that used to intimidate you?
Oh, I used to worry that I would cry, and get too upset. My first work was with refugees, and the stories were really sad. And so that was my big fear. But of course, I didn't cry the way I thought I might. I was enthralled of these beautiful stories of love and courage and bravery. And so I didn't need to worry about that little fear of mine. Yeah. I mean, not that I don't cry, but, I was worried that I might get too caught up in the sadness of it, because I had a life I've experienced a lot of grief up until, before I became a therapist. And, so I was worried about being overexpressive, perhaps.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and being so vulnerable around that, because I have a feeling that would have been, a lot of us are going, yeah, I remember that. Because I certainly remember going, how do I manage? Well, we didn't even have that. It was like my emotions. What do I do with my emotions? And working with a population like refugees, and here in Australia, we don't have a kind story about how we treated refugees. So some of the things, and these are people fleeing countries and wanting to come to a country that's not going to treat them nicely. So that's pretty intense work, and intense for you to get a handle on your own feelings around. Yeah.
Yeah, it was complicated, beautiful but complicated work, because working in a volatile political environment as well. Yeah.
Anywho, so 13 years on, is there anything now that intimidates you?
Oh, I think it's around, other than technology, we'll put that to one side, knowledge, keeping up. I get a bit I don't know if intimidated is the right word, but I like to keep up with what's going on. So I read a lot and I ingest a lot, and I have little reading piles all over my house and my office of, I sort of grouped in topics. So I've got my little yoga stack, and I've got my trauma stack, and I've got my well-being stack. And so it's not really intimidating, but I'm a voracious reader, and I like to know what's going on, and I like to read what people are reading, and maybe not cover to cover, but get a good sense of what's going on inside all these beautiful books that we have around us.
Yeah, it's such a great way to get information, and maybe there's going to be even a book in Jane's future, but we haven't talked about that. So moving on to what you're going to be sharing with us in the symposium, what do you think health professionals need to become better at or learn about to keep doing this work?
It's a really simple thing, and I think that we need to understand the trauma responses in our own bodies.
Wow.
I think we need to become more self-aware and more embodied. And the more that we can be settled in our own body, then we're providing a safe container for the people that we're interacting with.
Wow.
Because I think that we can get, and listen to me talking about all my books, we can get in our heads, we can get caught up in being perfect or being right or having the right technique or all of that heady stuff when, we know as therapists that the connection, the relationship is the most important thing. But I think there's more room for us to become more grounded and more settled, because what we're learning, and I'm very interested in polyvagal theory, and the way it crosses over with my yoga practices, that we're learning that the social connection, the social engagement system is the pathway to helping everyone settle and slow down. And if we look out, I can look out the window here and looking at people rushing and being busy and overworked and understaffed and not enough money. And we as, in private practice, we have all those concerns as well. And so what do we do with those? Often we push them down. We push them down and we go more into, so when we learn about trauma responses, we learn about feigning and fawning and flopping and freezing. We all know about fight and flight, but what about those other states that we go into, which aren't good for us and not good for our clients? And what I've developed for myself is a more embodied practice. So I will pause, take good breaks between sessions, look after myself before and after. I've got a really rigorous self-care practice so that I can be fully present for my clients.
That's wonderful. And I have been so fascinated by this because I came from a mentoring background, like a background where people were mentoring me in the beginning of my career. And it was all about the stoic face. And when you don't know what to do, just fall back on process. When you don't know what to say, just fall back on process. So I was constantly trying to learn all of these processes, which,
wow.
Yeah. So it's taken a long time for me to start to feel comfortable with the fact that I have emotions. and I've been quite open about that. But for us to be able to keep doing this work, one of the things you're going to be sharing with us in the symposium is, number one, the importance of our own trauma responses when we're in the room, and some of the things, because you're not going to be able to fix it in one 45-minute session, but some of the things that we could be doing to keep ourselves safe. Would that be correct?
Keep ourselves safe, or yes, but also to be safe.
Oh, nice.
So how can I be safe for you?
Yeah.
I wasn't safe for you when I didn't come on the screen. Sorry.
I dealt with it.
But now we've got each other and we can look at each other's faces, and, we've got that expression that we're sharing. So we're building that safe container straight away. So the safety needs to be authentic.
Yes.
It needs to be felt. I can't pretend that I'm okay if my heart is beating fast in my body. If the tone of my voice gives you an indicator that something's going wrong. I'm working now to slow down and be more embodied so that I can communicate safety to anyone that's listening.
Oh, wow. And I'm just sitting here listening to your voice and noticing that your tone, which helps me to calm down and helps me to go slower. Yeah. And I just checked out for a moment and was taken back to a session I had with a client where I actually contributed to that unsafe place because I was so scared of the story I was about to hear.
That's
right. And I just went, oh God, I wish I had known Jane then. But the beautiful thing about doing this right now is that it's the right time. Like the having regrets about the past isn't going to serve us, help the people that we're going to meet in the future. So Jane, what's one thing that people watching today or watching the replay could start to think about in preparation for coming to your session in 2 weeks' time?
Well, I think starting to know what state you're in. Mm-hmm. If you know about the polyvagal theory, are you in ventral sympathetic or are you in dorsal? If you know about any kind of state exercise, what state are you in now, and what does it take to move yourself from one state to another? And what are some of the, so these are micro skills. You know, they're little tiny skills that I think get lost, especially with young ones, you know, coming through. As you said, there's so much thinking going on, and if that thinking is also activated thinking, then it's not going to be congruent with what's going on in the body and what we're presenting, and then the other person's not going to feel fully safe because they're going to sense that distraction. So that's not really one thing, is it?
No, well, it's a theme, and none of us, I don't think any of us are expecting well, maybe I'd like the bottle of the one thing, but what you've just helped me understand is that this conversation is so important. For those of us who have got some maturity and wisdom about us, we need to be reflecting on our own practice and asking ourselves, am I slipping into unhealthy patterns of behavior? Or in my case, is this something I wasn't even aware of until a couple of years ago? And for emerging clinicians who have been so in their head, they've been trying to get through their studies and through their clinical hours and making sure they're putting the right piece of paper in the right pile at the right time, or whatever it is we do these days. So getting them out of their head and to start feeling the experience again so that they can be more present, so that they can actually be creating that place where people feel safe enough to heal. Because that's a huge thing. So Jane, I am so glad you said yes to being a part of this symposium. How can people connect with you now? Do you have a Facebook profile, a Facebook page, a group maybe?
Yeah, I've got a Facebook group called the Trauma Providers Support Group. Trauma Aware Providers Support Group, so TAPS. Yeah. That's on Facebook, and if you've got an interest in this area, if you want to join a community of like-minded people, then you'd be so welcome to pop on there. It's a couple of questions to answer before you come in, and we can welcome you.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jane. So you can learn more about Jane and experience more of her calming, soothing presence and her wealth of knowledge at the Future of the Health Professional Symposium. It's starting on the 19th of September, or the 18th if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. But what you want to do is get yourself on the wait list. The link for the wait list will turn up in the comments below, because Joe and Jane now need to go work out how to turn their technology off and make sure that we've kept everybody else safe. Looking forward to talking to Teresa tomorrow. So it's your turn then, honey. Bye now. Thank you, Jane.
Bye.
Bye.